Fortnite.
Fortnite? I love that game. That's the game that has the Roaring Knight in it. Sebastian Wolf, CEO of the game's music, is adding it to
CEO of
Fortnite.
Deltarune.
He's the CEO of Deltarune. He's John Rune. All right, third verse, same as the first two verses, I guess. I gathered 3 of my friends, and I made a fun little PowerPoint about image_friend, everyone's favorite stupid little bit of lore. Yeah, sorry this one took a little bit longer than the others to come out. I had to take a break. I was too tired of looking at Google Docs and Google Slides. And besides, I'm a full person. I got, things to do and other interests to say. I just wanted to be thorough with this, because, it's kind of hard to research when nothing is confirmed about this thing, but you'll see what I put together. Just keep watching the video. And yeah, that's what we're about to put on the screen. If you like what you see here, be sure you like and comment and subscribe. And I think I should have channel, like the hype thing enabled on the channel now, so go ahead and throw some hype points my way. I could use a few of those. Huh, I mean, it should be 3 of my friends at least. Oh, right, we need to revive Swole still. These are magic sounds. What? Alright. Guys, we're back! It's the 3rd episode of Underrunology! Are we excited? Are we excited, guys? Are we excited?
Me?
When I say guys, that means you guys.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yay! Alright, so yeah, this time we're gonna be going over Image Friend, but before we do that, let's have a little roll call. Wait, I'm doing this all out of order. What the fuck? Hold on. Welcome back to Underrunology. This is the series where I, a self-proclaimed, I'm slurring over my words. Oh my god.
I did this again. We're doing a friend video now. That's what we're doing.
Underrunology, the Underrunology, the series where Underrunology, the series where I, a self-proclaimed Deltarune lore expert, guide my friends who are a bit less familiar with Deltarune lore through Deltarune lore. This episode is, of course, the friend episode. We set this like goal. Actually, I set this like goal as a joke all the way back in episode 1, because I was like, oh, I'll never hit 200 likes. And I low-key forgot that I set the goal. Yeah, the comments quickly reminded me, like, yeah, friend video, and I was like, wait, what? And no, there's we're doing it now. Here we are now doing it. Can we get a quick roll call here from my 3 wonderful guests here today?
Hi, my name's Paul. You know me from the last 2 videos. Never leaving these. I'm broke as hell.
Paul is here forever.
Oh, it's me from last episode.
We have the return of Weaves, and of course, the return of the fan favorite character, Swole! Yes, as always, this series is inspired by the wonderful folks over at Mr. Brick & Co. They do the same kind of thing here where they do these presentations. They are much higher quality and in person, so if you like what you see here, go check them out. They're really good as well. So, without further ado, let's get right into Friend. Is what I would say if Tony freaking Tricky Fox didn't do some fuck shit. So, yeah, this is gonna date when I actually got off my ass and made the video. We have something else to cover. We have our little interactive segment here. We have the Deltarune 2026 newsletter that I want to briefly go over. Just briefly. So, this is the summer newsletter where he as in Tony, recounts Chapter 5's release. Did you notice? I just want to briefly run through this. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, because I don't want to bog down the video. I love this orange concept art. We got concept art for all the
Seth's concept art. They look like a little chud, bro.
I really like how chopped Seth used to be.
Chud.
I think Seth is too cute in the final game. I think Seth should have been more chopped. I like how this yellow concept art is literally just Woody. Like, okay, be a bit more subtle. Toby says that these enemies were not used in Chapter 5, which makes me think that we're going to get a Castletown fight with, like, the quote-unquote unused Chapter 5 enemies, the Mantis Dancer and the Archer. Netsuki was designed by the person that made fucking Fluttermane, who's, like, one of my favorite Pokemon ever. That's awesome. People are, like, freaking out about... Which one is it? There's, like, this Theories one, right? Yeah. People are freaking out about this. Everyone that first saw that was like, oh my god! Insert theory here. It's dead! It's not real! It's dead!
This night isn't real. Togor Knight lives on.
I don't think this is about any one specific theory. I think it's literally just Toby saying, like, hey, just do keep in mind, you don't have the full story. Chapter 5's reception was kind of lukewarm because people were upset that all their theories weren't confirmed in like 20 seconds back to back.
It's more of just like the game's coming to its climax. You know, we're about to get into the big story. Keep an open mind on what story I'm trying to tell. You know, like chill out.
Yeah, just be prepared to be
wrong.
wrong.
Like Death Knight isn't real.
Well, I mean, who knows? It could be Milk Looker. No. This whole section right here is just kind of like what I was trying to say at the end of the first video, where we need to just make sure we're having fun with theories, make sure we're having fun watching the game evolve in real time. This is a conversation I've actually had with someone else, where Deltarune right now, as it's releasing, is going to be a whole different beast compared to Deltarune like 20 years from now. Dude, people playing Deltarune in 20 years are not going to know who Pluie is. Like the real Pluie, not the woke cat. Also, the corn is awesome. We got another little update. Deltarune.com/chapter 5. Our favorite page. The page that has brain-rotted fans for years. Got a nice little update. If you don't know this page, which if you're here and you don't know this page, I'm genuinely shocked. This page relates to Weird Route. It shows you how relevant the Weird Route is in each chapter, and if you click on the numbers, you get a little teaser for that chapter's Weird Route. If you scroll down, this was newly added. 7B. I'm so fucking scared. We got a progress meter for chapter 7B. Now, obviously, Toby is not going to be publicly talking about chapter 7B in newsletters and stuff. I feel like it's a little...
He's just going to vague post about it until it's out, like...
He's never going to even mention it, like I guarantee you. At first, I thought it was a little redundant for Toby to make a separate progress bar for Weird Route Chapter 7, because it's like, obviously it'll come out at the same time as 7, as stated right here. But I feel like he did this just to explicitly tell us, like, hey, it is an entirely different chapter from start to finish. Like, you are going way off the beaten path here. Now, these progress bars, people have made different things about them. This is obviously maps and cutscenes. I think this one is like enemies, bullet patterns, and shit. And no one can decide what this last one is. I feel like it's bugs.
Bug fixes, obviously. There's no way.
I thought it was enemies at first, but thinking about it a little longer, it has to be like glitches and bugs. Because that's usually what he mentions in previous newsletters. He'll mention these 4 things. This is a cool thing to look out for. I think every newsletter it'll update. I did just want to briefly mention that because holy shit, like everyone joked like you're gonna zoom out on this page and there's gonna be a big number 6 and an even bigger number 7. But no, you just scroll down. I saw someone like post 7B the night that this like updated, and I was like, haha, that's fake, that's funny, haha. I went to the chapter 5 website and I scrolled down, and then my heart like genuinely sank, like I was stunned. Alright, let's actually get back on track and talk about it. Oh wait, we have one more thing. So, originally, I was going to set a like goal in this video. 500 likes and make a video on the rumored 3rd route, Twisted Sword route, whatever. But, after the newsletter and the 7B page, I firmly don't think we're getting a 3rd route. I really think that we're just going to get main route and weird route, and Twisted Sword is not going to lead to a whole 3rd separate route. I think if anything, it'll be like a cutscene or like an extra fight maybe, I don't know. But I think the dreams of an entire 3rd route have been fully squandered out. So I'm opening the floor to you guys, both my co-hosts here and the comments. Because honestly, I ran out of ideas after 3 episodes. I really don't know what else to cover. I'm going to first ask you guys, Paul and Weebs, if there's any topic you want me to cover next.
If this video gets 1,000 likes, Real is gonna start analyzing the Deltarune chapters by chapter. We're doing a whole analysis of the video game. Ain't that right, Real?
I mean,
3-hour long edited video.
I
Ain't
mean,
that right, boy?
I wouldn't be against doing a chapter by chapter analysis, but I feel like something like that would be better once the actual full game is out. I'm trying to think of something, and if I do, I'll leave it in the pinned comment. But definitely down in the comments, let me know what other topics you want me to cover. You know, originally I wasn't even gonna have like a little little sidetrack tangent for the intro like this, but I was just gonna go right into friend because I didn't really have anything to correct. The Chris video was actually really well received, and I wasn't told I got anything wrong in it, and I was like, that's awesome. But Tony had to release a newsletter. Dude, someone told me I still got the punch card wrong. I can't be asked to go back and fix it. I really can't. I can't be bothered. But without further ado, let's actually get into today's topic. The king of deltarune, image_friend. This stupid fat piece of shit cat has been haunting the deltarune fanbase ever since Chapter 2 came out, when all we had was a single smile in the corner of our screen to go off of. People have been racking their brains over and over again, trying to figure out what this thing is, and it's so frustrating because even to this day, with so much more information about Friend, it still feels like we know nothing. And yet with the few pieces that we have, we can still try to paint some sort of picture. However, that picture is still vague. It's been drawn over multiple times, it's blurry, and all we can really do is guess. It's so frustrating talking about Friend because nothing is certain, it's all just guessing, and yes, that goes for every theory, but for Friend...
So he's kind of like a potential man. You know?
He is the potential man of deltarune theories. Every theory is marred by guessing and unknown factors and predictions, but with Friend it goes tenfold because again, we know nothing solid about this thing. So do take everything with a grain of salt. It's possible that everything in this video is wrong, it's possible everything in this video is correct. Only time can tell in this case. Let's just start going over what we do know. Now our next slide is going to look a little familiar because I ripped it right from the first PowerPoint. I want to briefly go over every time we see Friend in game. We see Friend in the depths of Queen's basement, hidden just out of bounds, staring at us. Friend originally was supposed to appear in an unused attack from Birdly, where he would send barricades at you and some of them would be friend barricades. He was featured all over the Spamton sweepstakes in some of the earliest batches of reveals as well. This got everyone thinking he was going to be very important in the coming chapters, and he did get more information in the coming chapters. We see him first thing in Chapter 3, we see him in the Mantle game secretly and also very blatantly. In Chapter 4, we get references of a certain tale of hell. We get references of a tale that should not be followed and a tale that should be followed. We get the mic room, which is, it's covered in cats. There's cats everywhere. We get this stupid little vending machine in Chapter 3 as well, which I think is Friend. I think Friend is in the vending machine looking at us. He smiles. And in Chapter 5, I mean, he's just there. He's just there. We know where he is, but what is he? Why is he? How is he? Is he a he? Could Image Friend be a woman? Did you consider that? You might be a bad person if you didn't.
I didn't consider Friend could be a woman. Maybe I am a bad person.
Paul, you're sexist and we're canceling you, I'm sorry. But also, I don't like how this slide looks, so I made it a new background. Boom. Wow, look at this. Like I said before, a lot of things about Image Friend are up to speculation and interpretation. Nothing has been explicitly stated, so this is all inferences. Friend likely has a pointed tail. It is positioned in opposition to the prophecy. Now, I never like using unused content for theorization, but in this case, I mean, we have so few things to grab at, we kinda gotta take this one. This image right here is an unused version of the Tale of Hell prophecy, of course showing a point. I feel like this was removed because it put too much of the puzzle together. We have multiple allusions to a tale of hell and multiple allusions to a pointed tail. We have multiple allusions to a tale that should not be followed, and the pointed tail is stated to be a tale that the children followed. So logically, the pointed tail and the tale of hell are either closely related or the exact same thing. Now, why are we certain that the Tale of Hell belongs to Image Friend? Well, his name is Image Friend, which if you'll recall from the first PowerPoint, there are a lot of files in deltarune that are named very weirdly. They're all caps and have strange prefixes that you wouldn't normally use in game design. Friend is one of these weirdly named files, labeled all caps as both Image Friend and Device Friend in certain circumstances. People still go with the name Image Friend because that was the first time we saw him. The smile in Queen's basement was Image Friend. And also just Device is more so associated with device theory, so Image Friend is the more popularly accepted name. What does this mean? Why does this connect to hell? Well, if you'll remember, in Undertale, Gaster is very associated with the number 6 and the devil. All of Gaster's stats are 666. The Mystery Man door is door 66. So 6 and anything hell related is always tied to Gaster.
7.
As soon as we made this connection, everyone started to slap the pointed tail onto Friend and just rolled with it. Again, it was never confirmed that the pointed tail belonged to this cat, which, by the way, yes, Friend is a cat. We get multiple allusions to this in Spamton Sweepstakes with all of the cat imagery that is tied directly to it, like the Rare Cats page, Spamton being tied to cats and being tied to Friend. the mics being tied to cats, but we'll get back to the mics in a second. So everyone started sticking this tale onto Friend. The only thing that it would logically fit on, and we're like, yeah, sure, that makes sense. It was really just vibes, okay? There was, again, no solid evidence saying that this tale belonged to Friend, but yeah, no, it fits, it works, and it makes sense. I mean, look at this fat chud with that tail, it just works. Additionally, the tail is made of circles, and that's significant because in the Spamton sweepstakes, Noelle recounts experiencing some weird anomalies in her favorite game, Cat Petters. She describes Cat Petters as being animated with a very specific visual style, where all the pets are made out of circles that move around to give the illusion of 3D animation. This is an allusion to a real-life game, which I think is just called Pets, where the characters are animated in the same way. It is just 2D images of circles that are moved around and scaled to give the illusion of a 3D shape with things moving along it. We have a cat made of circles, and then we have a tail made of circles. In that same Spamton Sweepstakes page, Noelle recalls getting a white egg named Speckle, which is special but misspelled like how Spamton says it, and left home due to happiness. She also recounts finding a cat in the cave diver minigame that made you lose points when you collected it instead of gaining points and killing you instantly. Now, chapter 4 comes out, we get the Patat minigame, and in the Patat minigame, Friend appears. When you collect Friend, it nukes your points to 0 and it gives you a ton of points and it nukes your fuel to 0 and kills you instantly. So, Friend is functioning in Patat the same way that the cat that Noelle encountered acted in her story. The cat from the game where the cats are made of circles. Circle tail, Friend tied to the circle cats, boom. The pointed tail was attached to Friend. A lot of people forget this was never confirmed, even though, it is very much agreed upon by the fanbase to be, yeah, that's true. Friend is the pointed tail. Again, never confirmed. So some people would rebuke this saying that, okay, it's just a headcanon, it's not real. However, the Chapter 5 mic room, I feel like, tells a different story. We got a preview of this scene before Chapter 5 came out, but basically the whole gist of the scene, if you don't remember, is that Jongler and Patat are chilling, and Jongler got Patat a green drink, because Patat is green, so the green drink would fit him, and it would look cool, it would make sense. However, that drink is battery acid, and it hurts Patat. Patat calls Jongler stupid for this, but never says that he was wrong. I feel like this room is meant to reference Friend being the pointed tail, and kind of shut down a lot of the other weirder things going on at that time. At that point, we had a lot of fan art that was depicting just wild, crazy things. Stuff like Chris with the shadow arm that we talked about last time. A lot of artwork late Noelle fights, Chapter 7, Noelle fight, the angel battle, fighting Gaster, we had a lot of wild fan takes that were just going off of, it looks cool, it's hype moments and aura. So I feel like the whole point of the mic room was to say, okay, it's not always good to just go off of vibes and what looks cool. However, you did get one thing right. Because again, Patat does not say Jongler was wrong outright, just that, his logic was stupid. I feel like we at least have vague confirmation.
It's like doing a maths equation, but you do a completely wrong formula. You get the right answer anyway.
Yes, we showed the wrong work, but we got seemingly the correct answer, or at least an answer that is close enough to where the teacher is giving us half credit. Another notable thing about Friend is that they always appear out of bounds or far from the play area. You need to go out of your way to see Friend. You will not see Friend just going from point A to point B. You need to go off the beaten path. The one time that it has appeared in bounds, it blows us up with its mind. Kills you. Die. Fuck you. Friend is likely involved in the disappearance as well. Again, we get many allusions to a pointed tail that should not be followed. We'll get back to the Death Association on the next slide, as well as the Chris Association, which we know exists because Friend appears in Mantle. I spent so long in the last video discussing why Mantle was an important look into Chris and Chris's psyche. I think we can all agree that if something appears in Mantle, it has to be significant to Chris. Especially Friend being there, very prominently. Additionally, Friend is very heavily associated with pink and gold. That is the Friend colors. There are other instances of pink and gold that we found before Friend, but it's gotten to the point now where any instance of pink and gold is likely tied back to Friend with how important it's become. So, we know a few things about it, but who does Friend know? Friend, like I said, knows Noelle. There's a whole string of pages on Spamton Sweepstakes where Noelle recounts playing cat petters, finding weird, glitchy cats and pets, getting mysterious eggs that hatch into these weird cats that do bad things, corrupted cats, fucked up modded cats. Like, Friend is tied to Noelle's early exploits with video game glitches, which, as of Chapter 5 Weird Route, her association with glitches has become even stronger, with her literally essentially clipping out of bounds. Spamton had an entire sweepstakes dedicated to Friend. Also, I mean, Spamton is covered in pink and gold from head to toe. He mentions Friends explicitly multiple times, both in the Spamton Neophyte and in his shop, where if you mention Friends in the shop, he mentions Mike. But before we talk about Mike, I want to go back to the sweepstakes for a bit. One of, if not like the first reveal we got for the sweepstakes was the /chair page, which, if you'll remember, that is the page with the chair from the Chapter 3 opening cutscene that turns into Friend in the cutscene, where if you keep clicking on the chair, it'll like go back and forth between all messed up and dark and the normal chair until eventually Friend's eyes will appear. In Chapter 3, in the ball machine game, you can get these weird fortunes. And one of the fortunes is, don't let your guard down, that chair is going to kick your ass. And no one talks about this line. I feel like more people should be thinking about this line or like keeping it in mind. The only like relevant chair that we know about is Friend. So are we actually going to fight Friend at some point? Maybe. If we want to go back to Chris loses a hand theory, then we could say that, you know, maybe Friend is gonna kick the Fun Gang's ass and steal their hand. It is also theorized that Friend might be Spamton's mysterious benefactor. We will go more into detail on Friend and Spamton's connections later, so just put a pin in that for now. And let's get back to Mike. So Friend is tied to Mike very explicitly. Whether Friend is the Mike that used to help Tenna, or perhaps just took on the mantle of Mike, just to further its own goals, we don't know. But we do know for sure there's a tie between Friend and Mike. Spamton seems to have relied very heavily on this Mike character, the same way that they rely very heavily on their mysterious benefactor. Is the mysterious benefactor Mike? Is the mysterious benefactor Friend posing as Mike to take advantage of Spamton? Additionally, the Mike room has a very consistent motif of pink and yellow and cats. We see this most strongly in Pluie Mike here, who is literally a cat with pink and yellow eyes, a pitch black cat with a white outline and pink and yellow eyes. Throughout the entire Mike room, there are cats everywhere. And why would that be the case? You have to pet the cat statues to even get into the Mike room after opening the door, which is a pink and yellow eyed black cat lock, and in the actual Mike battle, you fight cat attacks, and those cats, it might be hard to see, but they have pink and yellow eyes. So why is this motif consistent throughout the entire Mike room when only one of the Mike trio is actually a cat? The other two are a microphone and a cowboy, and those have nothing to do with cats. So what's the deal here? What's going on? I firmly believe that this is Toby trying to tell us, you're right, you're correct, you're right, without actually saying that we're right. That Friend and Mike are the same. There are so many allusions to this pink and yellow cat in the Mike room that I don't see any other answer to it. Also, the mouse is made up of circles and connected to your computer mouse, which is a point. Again, Friend is positioned opposed to the prophecy. The organics in Chapter 4 have these two lines here when you fight them. The tail, T-A-L-E, which must be followed, and the tail, T-A-I-L, which must not be followed. Additionally, there is an organic in the Roots room, which is connected to the Egg room and the Fallen Star excerpt, but we'll get back to that in a second. This organic says a jumbled up phrase, which when decoded translates to lost where the forest would grow, the children followed the pointed tail. And additionally, we have, oops, I'm not tapped in, whoop, there we go, the Ring of Heaven's Call in the same room as the Tale of Hell's Crawl. These two prophecies being on opposite sides of a room, rhyming with each other and opposing each other. So, what is up with all this? The tale that must be followed is very obviously the prophecy, and the T-A-I-L that must not be followed is obviously Friend. So, what could this mean? I got to thinking about this, because a lot of people think that Friend is like against the prophecy or something. But if Friend is tied to Gaster, and Gaster is very heavily tied to the prophecy, then why would Friend be going against that? So I got to thinking a little harder. Well, what does the prophecy represent? The prophecy is the story of Deltarune, the immutable, unchangeable, inevitable story that we have to go through. So what then could be in opposition to that, to a rigid story where everyone has a part to play. I
don't know, can you tell me?
think Friend may be a meta-allegory, in the same way that Kara is a meta-allegory. I think Friend is the representation of secrets in video games in general. Friend is quite literally the concept of Easter eggs. And for more information on that, we'll get back to it later. That's my new catchphrase now. We'll get back to it later.
I did that like 7 times during the last video. It's crazy. I'm just gonna say one thing. We've said in chat that they were getting water like 10 minutes ago, so I'm only gonna assume he slipped and died.
Oh God, is he okay?
Dead.
He'll be fine. We'll bring him back with Swool. Let's go back to the Roots room for a second. This organic that so explicitly mentions Friend as the pointed tail of hell is positioned between both the egg room, which as we know is very tied to Chris's past, and a certain excerpt. In the corner of the Roots room you can read a certain book, and this book says, "So wept the fallen star, making rivers with its tears. Then from the bitter water something grew. It looked like glass." Many people assume this to mean Des. Des was a star, a prodigy, and she fell. She's gone now. Additionally, people think that the thing that grew from the water was a shadow crystal. The knight, its sword, has shadow crystals as a part of it. You break the sword, you get a shadow crystal. So this excerpt, it's very reminiscent of Des. Oh, and additionally, the knight uses star element attacks. If the knight is Des, then this excerpt likely means Des. So we have both Des and Chris with things that are very important to them right next to Friend. I think that the children that follow the pointed tail are Des and Chris, and maybe Noel and Asriel too. But let's break this down a little bit more and kind of tackle the implications of Lost Where the Forest Would Grow, the children follow the pointed tail. Let's talk about the shelter. We know that Hometown is surrounded by forests, and we know that the Holly Dreamer friend group, which is the name I came up with that I really like, they explored that forest very frequently.
They explored the forest and the fields.
In Chapter 2, Noel recalls a time that the gang explored the forest behind the graveyard. Behind the graveyard, you just see more of the orange trees that surround all of Hometown. So that makes it very clear that the forest in question is these orange trees. Now, like I said, these trees surround all of Hometown except for one very weird part of it. A path that is so conveniently opened up by the trees not being there that leads to the shelter, where the trees part dramatically around it. We know for a fact something happened between Chris and the shelter. Snowy and Monster Kid confirm as much in their Chapter 2 Hometown dialogue. And we know for a fact something still happens with Chris in that shelter. At the end of Chapter 3, it opens right up for them. We also know Carol's been investigating the shelter. So what does this all mean? Well, when you stand by the shelter, Muse_Smile plays. And do you remember what Muse_Smile is?
No, I don't know what it is. I'm new gen.
Yeah, you're a chud.
Definitely not.
Muse_Smile.
Oh, you're back from getting water. How is it?
Did you drown?
I had like 3 glasses.
Muse_Smile is the quote-unquote song that plays when you read entry 17 in Undertale. It is the garbage noise that you hear when you try to use your cell phone in the dark world. So, this clearing in the forest, a place where the forest would grow, the children followed the pointed tail there to the shelter? So is Gaster in the shelter with Friend? Did Friend lure Des to the shelter?
Did Friend lure Gaster to the shelter?
Did Friend lure Gaster to the shelter? We keep assuming that Gaster is like Friend's owner, but what if Friend is Gaster's owner? Oh my god, dude, like I want to know more about this. I mean, okay, so in Chapter 4, Gerson says that Chapter 5 is going to be the Field of Pink and Gold. The Field of Pink and Gold, okay, Pink and Gold is Friend. So Chapter 5 is going to come out, and we're going to get so many more Friend details. We're going to get a Friend lore dump, maybe even a Friend battle. We're going to learn so much more about Friend. Oh my god, I'm so excited, guys. Alright, let's go over all the Friend lore in Chapter 5. We got no Friend lore in Chapter 5. Quite notably, Friend's only appearance in Chapter 5 was turning red. We got no new information on it. And people were not happy. On the one hand, you can say that it is the fault of the Deltarune fanbase for getting their hopes up for something we were never told would actually happen. But like, can you really blame us? It's the Field of Pink and Gold for fuck's sake. and friend was gaining more and more relevance in chapters 3 and 4. So yeah, logically, you'd expect chapter 5, the field of pink and gold, may as well call it Friend's litter box, to tell us more about friends. But unfortunately, that just didn't happen. A random nameless NPC had more aura than friend, and that is how it was going to be forever. After all, if Toby wanted us to care about friend, he would have given us more direct info on it, so maybe friend actually doesn't matter. Maybe friend is just some irrelevant background detail. Oh well. Maybe chapter 6 will give us something. But for now, I mean, that's it. That's everything. That's all we know about Image Friend. Nothing ever happens. Something happened. Something really, really big happened. On a random morning, out of nowhere.
But nothing ever happens.
Oh, something happened, alright. We were given new dialogue in chapter 5. We got a patch. I remember I was up early that morning. I couldn't sleep that night. So I wake up, I sit up, I check Twitter. First thing I do because I'm a chud. And I see we have a deltarune patch, and I go look through this patch notes and I'm like, wait, text changes. New obscure dialogue. That's weird. I wonder what it is. Probably just like a funny little Easter egg or something, right? No. It was something much larger than we ever could have imagined. As Pink, the shopkeeper of chapter 5, takes Chris's hand, isolates the two of them in a conversation that only they can hear, and explains the story of someone that she once met, someone who had a whole pack of cats. Chris, is your hand okay? It looks like you've got a cat bite. Cats can be nasty creatures, can't they? I once met someone who really liked cats. They liked cats so much they had a whole hunting pack of them. Of course, cats are fickle creatures, but they were very good at finding protein. Chris, if you have any protein, you must keep it hidden and never let anyone see it. The cats are not too smart, but once they find a target, they never stop chasing it until they get bored. And when they find you, they bite very, very hard. Some people would do anything to get away from them, even change their appearance or go into hiding. Oh, Chris, it's terrible. It's terrible. Please be careful, Chris. Promise. Oh, wait, why am I trembling? Was my body saying something? Hey, don't have any conversations without me. Communication is key, right, body? Body? To the uninitiated, this is just random bullshit. What is she yapping about?
He initiated a WD lifter that's trying to get his protein so he can hit his protein intake for the day.
What does this all mean? It has very big implications. Finally, the Endogeny parallel, the random out of nowhere Endogeny parallel, was given meaning. Endogeny is an amalgamate from Undertale, which is a fusion of multiple dogs. The check text states that we don't even know how many dogs are inside of it. So why was Fred looking like Endogeny? After the ERAM fight in chapter 3, people theorized that there were multiple friends. After all, multiple of them are summoned in that fight. But some people were still a little iffy on it. I mean, ERAM is definitely just fucking with you, right? Like, he could just do that. But now, there may genuinely be multiple friends. Could Friend be a hive mind? Is the friend we see in the start of chapter 3 a sort of, like, for lack of a better term, mother figure? Is this the main friend body? Does it split off, or are there just multiple of them? Cats are fickle, apparently? What does that mean? Was it made just to follow orders and be a humble servant? I would like to direct your attention once again to the chapter 3 vending machine that I said had friend inside of it. Wait. Its dialogue says, always at your humble service. Is friend just made to follow orders and nothing else? If that's the case, it would explain why it's fickle, because if anyone can order it around to do as they please, then it wouldn't be very loyal. ERAM does not seem to be tied to Gaster directly. Its file name isn't weird like anything else tied to Gaster, but it seems to command friend, which is tied to Gaster. So, did ERAM manage to apprehend friend, or at least a part of it, and now command it on its own? Either way, friend is definitely dumb as shit and can't do anything for itself. Friend seems to only act on command.
Fucking stupid, fat, idiot cat.
Friend could be an orange cat. If friend can't act on its own, then whose orders is it here under? I believe there might be two instances of friends. We might be seeing friends that are ordered by Gaster just to watch us, but also we might be seeing friends that are being issued by ERAM to harm us, to get in our way. Now, that would go into theorizing about what ERM is and why he is the way he is, but we don't got time for that here. Friend never stops chasing
1k likes and we get an ERM video.
That would be like 20 minutes long. Friend supposedly...
1k likes and we don't get an ERM video.
3 likes and there's no ERM video. Supposedly, friend never stops chasing you. And this is where I got the idea of it being a meta allegory like Kara. Like I said earlier, I firmly believe that friend could be a meta allegory for Easter egg hunting and secret hunting in video games. It is already very evocative of old Easter eggs and rumors, shit like Hell Valley Skytree, Bigfoot and GTA, stuff like that that's just out of bounds, just out of view, and gets you thinking and wondering, why is this here? What is the purpose of it? So you try to look through the files, you try to get out of bounds, you try to hunt down these things and find them yourself to get an explanation for them, but in reality, they're nothing. Now to jump ahead a little bit, we know that friend is going to have an association with eggs. I mean, hell, we already mentioned it. Spamton's Noel sweepstakes? Noel's Spamton sweepstakes pages mention her finding a white egg labeled as special. The white egg is very obviously meant to evoke the image of the Forgotten Man's eggs. So, connection between friend and an in-universe egg of sorts. So, what is this? How is this a meta allegory then? Well, if you become an Easter egg hunter in one game, you're going to be an Easter egg hunter in every game. Noelle is a prime example of this, where she constantly hunts Easter eggs, glitches, and all that. I mean, hell, that is what her entire blog on the sweepstakes is about. She is a glitch hunter, a secret hunter. She likes to do this stuff for fun. She likes to look up creepy game glitch compilations. She likes to bash mods together and watch them break and glitch out. Kara has the same thing. So Kara, the embodiment of getting stronger in a game, of growing more detached from it, of devaluing the story for the sake of just seeing what can happen, seeing it less as a piece of art and more as just numbers going up, is stated to follow you onto the next world. Now, people thought this just meant that Kara was literally going somewhere else with Frisk. Oh, maybe they go to Deltarune. But no, it's very clearly an allegory, a metaphor for that completionist urge within you growing and spreading to other games. And I think that friend is the same thing. It is a very big epidemic these days of people going to these games with good lore in them, good juicy lore, and completely discarding the actual present story just to focus on the lore. Hell, people do that with Deltarune itself, where people don't care about what happens on screen so long as they get their lore details. That is what happened with Chapter 5, where Chapter 5 gave us an amazing story, a very emotional story that was great for the characters, great for the story, and people didn't care because we didn't get a friend fight, because we didn't see Gaster, because we didn't get the whole Death's lore done. We didn't get lore, we just got a story. But people didn't care. They wanted the lore, they wanted the secrets, they wanted the Easter eggs, they wanted all of that. And when Chapter 5 didn't deliver on that, and just focused on being a fun, good story instead, they got upset. So where am I going with all this? I want to go back to the juxtaposition between Friend and the Prophecy. The Prophecy, Heaven's Call, the unchangeable story of Deltarune, where you're just meant to go from point A to point B and fulfill the prophecy. What better to stand in opposition to that than an outlier like Friend? A concept of something meaningless, of something secretive, something that is designed to make the user chase it. In other words, to make them follow its trail, its tail, if you will, drawing its victims further into madness as they desperately search for something with ultimately no meaning. That is what I believe Friend represents on a meta standpoint. We have this well-defined story where everyone has their part to play, where everything is supposed to go a certain way, and then that distraction, a nothingness that pulls you off the beaten path. Now, of course, Chapter 6 or 7 could come out, and I could be dead wrong on that, but
6-7.
6-7! Only time can tell. Friend could 6-7 like crazy. He has 5 hands. But going back to Pink's dialogue, Friend apparently bites hard enough to leave a wound that can last through heals and save points, which is crazy because the only other thing we've seen in a Dark World deal lasting damage that persists into the Light World is Snowgrave, and Birdly breaking his arm in normal route if you beat Queen with violence, but the only significant injury that has persisted between being healed is Snowgrave. And I guess Flowery getting cut up by the Knight. Yeah, the Knight also, now that I think about it. So Friend is being put on a level similar to the Knight now. Pink also states that cats never stop chasing, and I want to look at that within the context of the story because Friend has been chasing us, and it's been getting closer and closer to us. It started just on the corner of our screen, briefly visible for half a second. Then we see it very clearly beyond a screen. In Chapter 4, it is separated by just a single wall. And in Chapter 5, it's finally in bounds, and we can interact with it, and it bites. Now, I know everyone said this with Chapter 5, but I really think Chapter 6 will be our friend fight chapter. I think Chapter 6 will actually see this motherfucker face to face, and maybe not throw hands, but definitely get our ass kicked by that chair. Also, I think it says a lot that Pink, the invincible Pink, who takes no damage from anything, is terrified of this cat. Pink cannot be harmed, and yet Pink is terrified of this cat. Can Pink actually be harmed by this cat? Can it hit hard enough to do that? Can it just break the logic of the world and bypass her invincibility? Whatever it is, she's terrified for Chris, who very much can be hurt and will be hurt by this thing again. So, let's dig a little deeper into some of the more specific things here. Specifically, the pack of cats. Now, who does this pack of cats belong to? Now, you could say it's Eram, because Eram has been shown to have a pack of cats, but I want to take a different angle.
The Gaster and deltarune built it off from it.
Yes. I think that the cats are owned by Gaster. I think Gaster has a whole pack of cats and uses Friend to kind of interface with the world. Now, this is a theory that was proposed a while ago by Kami Boy G in the cat and mouse theory, where he takes it very literally that the pointed tail of hell is a computer mouse, considering that they're both, well, pointed. Friend was also low-key confirmed as a shadow crystal distributor in Chapter 5 by this dialogue. Maybe he didn't, like, literally give everyone shadow crystals, but it seems like he at least made people aware of these crystals or got them to the right people, so to speak. Who would Pink know? Like, genuinely, who would Pink know with a whole pack of cats? Who logically could Pink be talking about here? Just bearing in mind everyone that she's met. No one in Hometown owns a whole pack of cats. And it just seems like the sort of thing that, like, it wouldn't be a rando. It wouldn't be someone random. It has to be someone specific and someone tied to Friend. And who else would it be besides Gaster? And when would she have met this cat, and by extension Gaster? Likely when she received the Shadow Crystal. Now, again, you could say that, you know, Shadow Crystals are broken dreams, and Pink's dream is what made the Shadow Crystal that ended up in Pink's possession in the Dark World. However, it is stated by Maddie at the end of the fight that Pink had the Shadow Crystal before she, like, got there. I didn't put the dialogue here, but I want to find the exact quote real quick. My body, she forgot to give you something. I don't know why, but we've had this since we got here, and we don't need it, so you have it. And then she gives you the Shadow Crystal. Since they got there, they had the Shadow Crystal. Now, it seems like when a Dark World is first made, there's like a brief bit of... things seem to like go dark for a second, so to speak. When we see Susie make Second Sanctuary, she stabs the ground, and there's a fade out. Then we fade back in the Dark World. So it seems like there's a period of time that kind of gets lost whenever a Dark World is made. I think it's during that time that things are sort of set up, so to speak, by Friend. And it is in this brief time where the Shadow Crystal is being delivered to its rightful owner. And who knows, maybe Pink got some one-to-one, like, chitter-chat time with Gaster. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Fuck Friend. I hate Friend. But the direct link between Friend and Gaster may imply that Friend has a far greater importance than we are giving it currently. It was already predicted by Molly Stars, right before Chapter 5 came out, that Friend may have the ability to manipulate out-of-bounds areas. I did mention this in the first video, where in the basement, we find Friend at a dead end, and when we try to turn back, our entrance to the room has been closed off. When we try to proceed again, there is a new pathway opened up. That is when the teacups come up to let us proceed. In Chapter 4, when we find Friend in that dark room, after you get the item in that room and leave, you can no longer return to that room. The entrance closes off. So, like, if we want to go with the interpretation, like the very literal interpretation that Friend is like Gaster's computer mouse, is Friend like literally building the map in real time? This may be why we are able to catch glimpses of Friend in game. Maybe Gaster is a really bad game dev and he's rushing the creation of his beautiful project. We know that Gaster is trying to make something.
Gaster works at Ubisoft.
And remember, Gaster in Undertale was said to work kind of slowly. Alphys worked faster than him apparently. Is Gaster really slow game dev? We know he's trying to make something. The end of chapter 4, he's trying to find his deltarune. And maybe his deltarune is quite literally just deltarune. Additionally, cats are hunting protein. Protein is in meat. Could this be how we get Meat Factory? Are the vessels made of meat? Perhaps. And looking at the relationship of Friend and Gaster as the relationship between an author and their work, we can put a new spin on the relationship between Friend and the prophecy. Friend may be enforcing the writing concept of killing your darlings. Now, kill your darlings is a concept in writing where a writer needs to know when to cut certain things out of their story. You can never get too attached to anything because stories have a limited runtime and they need to use every second of said runtime to tell the story effectively. So, you have a character and you like that character, let them do what they need to do and then get rid of them. You can't keep that character around longer than you need to, you can't bring them back just because you want to. Everything in a story should serve a purpose, and a good writer knows when to cut out what they don't need. Could Friend kidnapping Des have been an in-universe execution of this concept? Is Friend sort of used to get people into certain places or out of certain places for when they're needed or not needed? Now we know Asriel has been out of town, and I don't think it's a stretch to say that this decision may have in part been motivated by Des's disappearance, knowing that they were close. Perhaps Asriel just wanted to get away from the town full of memories that he shared with someone very special to him. Des also, obviously, yoinked, gone, she got nicked. And also all the secret bosses, which have their own kind of packed backstories, are gently pushed out of the way, off the beaten path, so that they don't disrupt the flow of the main story. Now, funnily enough, the secret bosses do kind of add a lot to the stories in their pacing, but, like, I don't think this is, like, guaranteed to be true, and this is, like, one of the biggest stretches in this entire PowerPoint, but I think it's interesting to look at, to just, if we're going to assume Friend is a tool of Gaster, it's just a way that Friend could be used by Gaster to keep deltarune flowing. Before we move on to the next slide, any questions, any clarifications needed? I know I've been going a little fast on this one.
No, it's very straightforward. I think we get
Nah, I'm alright.
like protein, Dingaster. We're good.
So let's look at another part of what Pink said, that people would do anything to get away from the cats. And let's go back to our favorite salesman, your favorite salesman, 1997, Spamton G. Spamton. I've already covered why Friend may be Spamton's benefactor. Friend is very much tied to Mike and the voice that Spamton heard on the phone. But to go a little deeper, it is stated by the Addisons that, and by Tenna, that Friend... Okay, hold on. The Spamton timeline, I noticed while researching, kind of sucks ass. Because Spamton kind of did the same thing twice in two different locations, where Spamton was kind of trying to make his way in Cyber City as a business person, and then got in contact with Tenna. And Tenna and Spamton started to have a business venture together that was going good.
Gay sex.
They were having a lot of gay sex, and Spamton was about to sign a contract that would let him become a big shot. However, right when he was about to sign it, he got a phone call. And whatever happened on that phone call caused him to run out on Tenna before signing the contract and telling Tenna how to become a big shot. He then seemingly returned to Cyber City, where he saw success again. He managed to get into the Queen's mansion. The other Addisons were slowly getting cut out of his life because he didn't need them. He didn't need them. And then he received another phone call, and whatever that phone call was caused him to run out of Queen's mansion again. Or no, not run out of Queen's mansion, but he was getting evicted that day, and then he got the phone call, and I think he fled on his own. So after that, he went to the trash zone and started living there, started living in dumpsters, surrounding himself with trash. I think that whatever the phone call was in TV World, or whatever the phone call was in Queen's Mansion, those were both Friend. Again, Friend seems to be moving things around in the background, seems to be changing things to kind of pave a path for us.
Friend talks like a fucking Italian mobster.
You come into my cyber world, you sell my Tongadero.
Spamton. Spamton. You come to me in the day of my Gaster's wedding.
You come to me the day of my Deltarune's birthday?
You counted me in the day of our beautiful connection.
I think that Spamton signing the contract in TV World somehow triggered Friend, and that's when Friend like really got on his ass. That is what caused him to flee back to Cyber City. And once he was in Cyber City, he saw success again. He got into the Queen's mansion. And after he got into the mansion, I think Swatchling, either the Swatchlings or Swatch himself, tell you about how Spamton would spend all of his time praying in the basement. Spamton had already developed his obsession with the Neo body, which has the Shadow Crystal inside of it. So I think from the very beginning, from all the way back in TV World, Spamton was being manipulated by Friend. And what's interesting about this is that Spamton now surrounds himself with useless, trash, garbage, poo-poo dookie stuff that you can't even equip. Friend's damage in Chapter 5 is tied to the monetary value of the items in your inventory. Did Spamton just like surround himself with trash to keep himself safe? Did he voluntarily give up everything to keep himself safe? Now, obviously, he's not very happy about it. He seems very upset about the fact that he's living in the bottom of a goddamn dumpster. However, I still think this is a choice that was made consciously by him to keep himself alive. Now, you could say that that wasn't really his decision because, you know, the cat is here. It's also very notable that, like, every Spamton-related equipment defends against cat elements. The mannequin, which is literally him-shaped, gives the most defense against cat element. The frayed bow tie also gives cat defense, despite being one of Spamton's trash items. The Dealmaker actually gives the most cat defense. Forgive me, I'm stupid and chopped and can't read more than 3 lines of text at once. But interestingly, the Dealmaker also gives you money up, which is strange considering he wants to defend against the cat. It's a bit of a contradiction there, if you ask me. But also, it's not like Spamton was making much money anymore anyway, so maybe he didn't care at that point. Also, in the Undertale 10th anniversary livestream, the stream that keeps on giving, Spamton shows up. He shows up when you go to have the conversation with Sans and Grillbees about the talking flower and papyrus. He fully replaces Sans in that scene. You'll sit down and get French fries, and then he'll ask you about ketchup, and then Frisk says, catsup. And Spamton starts freaking out. He's looking around, says, catsup? Brother is traumatized, he's afraid, and that cat could be anywhere. This could allude to the fact
about real life Spamton being slaughtered and killed.
Oh my god, I forgot to put that on there. Yes, at the end of Spamton Value Network, Spamton A. Spamton is seemingly hunted down by something in the real world after raising a bunch of money for charity. That thing thinks that he is the real Spamton. He tries to call on the phone to get help with this thing, but there's no one on the other end. Was Spamton A. Spamton hunted down by Friend in real life after raising a bunch of money for charity, thus luring it out of the shelter? But yes, basically what I'm getting at is that Spamton seems to have liquidated all of his assets, seems to have lost everything and went off the grid just to save himself from the cat. And it kind of reframes his relationship with Tenna, because the two of them both hate each other. And it kind of sheds more light on what happened. Because Tenna thinks that Spamton just abandoned him outright and became a big shot himself, and he got all the money for himself and all the fame and everything. But Spamton probably blames Tenna for Friend getting on his ass in the first place, because Tenna is the one that convinced Spamton to sign the contract to become a big shot anyway, and that is likely what triggered Friend to go after him in the first place, because again, while signing that contract, that's when he got the phone call that caused him to flee TV World. So
why was Friend, like, I know no one knows the answer, but why the f would you just like, damn, I hate this guy in particular, let's ruin his life? What was the logic behind that?
Well, judging by Spamton's battle dialogue in Chapter 2, becoming a big shot may have been him trying to ascend to the light world of sorts. In some way. Spamton keeps going on about ascending to heaven, going up, ascending. He wants the soul.
WD didn't let that happen.
Exactly. He wants the soul for a reason that we don't know, but it is likely to try to ascend to another, to kind of borrow device theory terminology again, to kind of ascend another layer. And Spamton, Gaster may have known that this wasn't possible, but he also may not have wanted to even take that risk of some variable fucking up his story at all. And he may have sent Friend after him because of that. Man, I really hate talking about Friend because I just sound like Gaster Theory. Have you guys seen that video, Gaster Theory?
No.
Wait, I have to show you this one. Here it is.
From the Spamton sweepstakes, we can clearly see that lost where the forest would grow, the tree's lost girl trauma Chris. We can then link this to the Forgotten Man. Also known as the Eggman, he is Deltarune's secret darkner in between. The 7 Aces of Man Country Light World Tree Egg. He says 11 years Deltarune Gaster prophecy, which connects to Trauma Chris and the Vessel. The Vessel, Forgotten Man, Goner, Gaster copies are monochrome. Gaster Undertale? Player fail of determination genocide sans metadata.
Like, it just sounds like endless theory buzzwords talking about friends. I hate it, but like, it's just a consequence of us having like nothing to actually like solidly go off of. And when we finally did get something solid,
Undertale?
Spamton Undertale? It is very likely that Spamton tried to break out of his assigned role, and that might have been what Friend went after him for. Moving on, let's talk about the eggs. Now, we've
Friend's
already...
transphobic theory. Brendan Rousey fight confirmed.
Holy shit, okay. I'm gonna talk about Friend and Rousey like towards the end, don't worry. It's nothing like theory related, but it's for the open mic segment. I got something tangentially related to that dimension. We already knew that the Forgotten Man and Friend were connected due to the sweepstakes, and I want to actually finally go through the chain that I mentioned earlier. If you go to deltarune.com/man, you get the tree. Now, we looked at this page in the first video, but I fucked it up and didn't fully go through it. Title says behind the tree. I didn't click, literally behind the tree. Click behind the tree, you go to egg. Egg is where Noelle talks about the white speckle egg. Or sorry, it is actually special. I thought it was misspelled like Spamton. The glitchy egg that broke her game. That brings you to Secret Cats, which is where Noelle describes the day that it rained and Caddy came over.
Angle wing.
Yes, this is where we get Super Angle Wing. And that brings us to Try It Yourself. Remember this page? Where the fuck are my points?
Bro, Super Holy Angle Wing is there, bro, click it.
Oh yeah, I don't even need to do this actually. So that...
Idiot, you idiot.
Wait, I need Super Holy Angle Wing again. Where is he? Where is he?
I'm gonna be doing this for the next 20 minutes.
No, don't show up. There we go. Oh. Back-to-back Super Holy Angle Wing! Man brings us to Egg, which brings us to Rare Cats, which has the Friend jump scare. And Rare Cats brings us to Windows. And Windows is Lost Where the Prophecy, Lost Where the Forest Would Grow, Children Follow the Pointed Tail. Brings us to the Roots Prophecy page, which then brings us, where does it bring us afterwards? Wait, 1, 2, 3. Brings us to the Roots page, which brings us to the second set of windows. And this one brings us to Therapy, which brings us to the Chapter 4 Egg Room, which, if you remember, is connected to the Roots Room, which has the Pointed Tail mention in it. So that is the Forgotten Man-based links bringing us to 2 Friend pages. So, Friend and Forgotten Man connection 100% confirmed to exist and be a thing. Now, what's the deal here? Eggs are a source of protein. There you go, and video. So, Forgotten Man is definitely connected to Chris's past, be it some traumatic event or some suppressed memory, or specifically what happened on quote-unquote that day. And the Forgotten Man gives us eggs, and these eggs are stated to be evidence for something that we'll know when it happens. Could Chris getting the eggs be metaphorical to them gaining the confidence to confront their memory of what happened on that day? Now, everyone theorizes that one Toby Fox tweet about a friend of his working on a game that'll be very similar to Deltarune is about Omori. In Omori, the main character, Omori, or Sunny, has repressed a memory of a certain day where something really bad happened that they were a part of. I don't think it's crazy to say that Chris might be heading towards a similar path, where Chris was involved in something really bad, and that is why they are being
pushed next into the shower.
Could the eggs kind of be metaphorical in a sense, where they are going to be used to lure out Friend to be properly confronted, lure out Friend as proper evidence of what happened on that day to allow Chris to remember. Throughout the entire game, we are being told, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget. And that is tied to a promise that Chris made, yes, but a lot of things in this game have multiple meanings. Could Don't Forget be recontextualized later as asking Chris not to forget what happened on that day? asking Chris to remember what happened, to fight through their trauma, to gain confidence and confront the past. That part I think is a little iffy, but I do think that the eggs are 100% tied to like remembering what happened in the past, to again be evidence of something that has already come to pass. Now, interestingly, the Forgotten Man is deemed an issue by Gaster, and now, in the comments of the first video, someone was upset that I didn't mention the PlayStation achievements. And honestly, I didn't think much of it because I was like, okay, the achievements are made by Gaster, what else could we really talk about there? It had kind of slipped my mind that the achievements had something to do with the Forgotten Man as well. So, the achievements in Deltarune are all definitely like written and made by Gaster. They're all in all caps, they all have weird names that are very Gaster-esque with very eloquent wording, and the chapter completion ones are all complete without issue. Now, when these were first shown off, people freaked out because Susie is an anagram of the word issue. So people thought, wait, can you complete a chapter without issue? Without Susie? But no, what actually triggers these achievements not being obtained is obtaining the eggs. Now, why is the Forgotten Man considered an issue? Do the eggs distract friends? I mean, they're protein, maybe you could throw the eggs and kitty go bye-bye. But no, I think that, again, the prophecy is this rigid story that is not meant to be changed, or it is meant to be consumed in one specific way, but by us going off the beaten path, we are essentially diverting that story, however slightly it may be, and that could be deemed an issue. And I know what you're going to say, but weird route! And I want to direct your attention to an achievement that I don't actually have on this page, because again, I'm chopped and stupid. Ring. The achievement ring is obtained by ringing the bell in the Chapter 4 Dark World, the room with all the missiles in it. It's also possible to obtain by buying the keygen from Spamton, but you can also get it by obtaining the Thorn Ring! So, weird route is not an issue to Gaster, but for some reason, these eggs are. I think if anything's going to let us actually like really divert the story in a way that Gaster does not approve of, it's going to be these eggs. Weird route is obviously diverting the story and breaking the prophecy, but I think it's doing so in a way that still abides by whatever Gaster wants. However it ties into his Deltarune, we can't say right now. We don't have all the pieces. I mean, we don't even know what Weird Route even is at this point. The eggs are definitely already set up to be something that Gaster does not approve of, does not want. And this is further supported by the fact that the Egg Room songs do not appear anywhere in any sort of external media. They're not on these soundtracks, and they're not even in Spamton Sweepstakes. Weird Route stuff is referenced in Spamton Sweepstakes, even though it's not on the soundtrack, but the Egg Room music is not anywhere outside of the game. So whatever it is definitely not Gaster approved. It's not got the Gaster seal of approval. Thumbs down from Big WD. And some people also freaked out as soon as we got this dialogue, saying they're like, oh my god, wait, we're collecting eggs! The Forgotten Man is setting us up! Friend is hunting down the Forgotten Man, and now Chris has all the eggs, and they're gonna get hunted down, and I don't think that's true. I don't think the Forgotten Man is trying to set us up or anything.
That would be so funny if they just give us like their drug money.
No, I don't think that's happening. You can see the Forgotten Man in Hometown after you collect the eggs, and he does seem to be on good terms with Chris. He's happy, and Chris does not seem unhappy to see him either. I don't think it's malicious. I think that whatever is going on with the eggs is consensual between both the Forgotten Man and Chris. But whatever the eggs lead to, it is definitely not going to make Big WD happy. And there's one last thing I got out of this dialogue that I want to talk about, which actually is something that both me and Paul know about because we came up with this together the day the dialogue came out. It is a new spin on Death Knight. Des is not dead, but she has vanished due to Friend. I believe that Des was being hunted by Friend, or maybe even hunting it in return. Noelle encountered Friend when she was young. She was scared by it, and like most things that she was scared by, she likely went to Des about it. And Des, wanting to protect her, likely, stepped in, was like, relax, I'll handle it. We've already seen Des do this with the ICE pizza box. Remember, Noelle saw an ICE pizza box in the dark and got scared by it. Chris tried to chase her around with it because they're evil. And then Des beat Chris up and burnt out the eyes of the ICE pizza box. It's not a stretch that if Noelle came to her and said, "Oh my god, Big C's store, the evil cat demon is here," then Des would be like, all right, we'll take care of this. It's not real. But actually, Friend was real. Des likely would then have tried to pursue it and take care of it. Des just, again, based on vibes, seems like the type of person that would try to deal with it herself instead of like going to any
Let me
cops.
just really say something before
Yes.
anything. Someone in the comments is gonna get to this part and actually go, "Oh, this is actually a theory from blah blah blah. So you didn't make this up." And I just want to say you're a baby bitch. And
Dude,
you know,
I have the
like-
timestamps. I have the timestamps of us discussing this the morning the patch came out. Even if Des had gone to the cops or adults about the mysterious cat demon terrorizing her little sister, they probably wouldn't have believed her. Chris can tell Undyne about the Dark Worlds in Chapter 2, or even Chapter 1, I think? I don't remember. But she doesn't believe them. She thinks that they're just making it up. So, Des would then have to deal with Friend herself. And Friend would likely be a much bigger deal than she could handle. And perhaps in turn, Friend began to chase her, to pursue her. And this started to slowly drive Des crazy. Her room, like I said, is full of busted up items. Perhaps she stopped giving herself new things because she knew that they would lure Friend. Her closet is full of the exact same pair of shoes over and over again. Nothing fancy, just basic cheap Converse. And she doesn't have a lot of clothing in there either. Her room is also full of glow-in-the-dark stars. It can never truly be dark in her room. Friend can never actually show up in there, perhaps. And maybe in her desperation, she managed to forge her busted up wiffle bat, her cracked bat actually, into the Black Knife. Now, Des has been seen with this cracked bat in the past, but we don't actually see that bat in her room. I would imagine we find it in there, but no, we just find a dented up wiffle ball bat, which is the weapon used to slay Chris after they prank Noelle. Remember, the Fallen Star excerpt said that the Fallen Star wept, and from its tears, something rose from the water that looked like glass. The black shard is described as being glass. I don't think that what rose from the water there is a shadow crystal, but rather the Black Knife. After getting this weapon, this Black Knife that can slay darkness, she would likely try to pursue Friend for a final confrontation. Or maybe Friend goaded her. Friend texted her, "Run the fade now." Now, her pursuit of Friend was to protect those who she loved, was to protect everyone. You could say she was brave, almost like a knight. So, Des then fought Friend in the shelter. Perhaps it was already a Dark World at that point, but the point is, she lost. She lost that fight. The girl lost. The odds of this actually coming true are probably not very high. This was a theory that me and Paul kind of hashed out in the spur of the moment, like right after the patch notes dropped. I think the patch dropped at like 5 or 6 a.m. for me, and we had this theory up at like 8 or 9 a.m. I just feel like the whole, oh yeah, Friend, like people would go into hiding and change their appearances. That feels so deliberate and specific to mention. Like, you don't just say stuff like that without a reason. Yeah, Spamton kind of went into hiding, but he's still out and about, so who went into hiding? And as of Chapter 5, it's not becoming so black and white whether she, like, actually died or not. Noelle says that Des left. Did Des actually leave of her own volition to go hunt down Friends? Additionally, if Des left because of Noelle specifically, that would add a lot more to Noelle's stress and guilt over Des and her disappearance. Obviously, you know, if your beloved sister goes missing, you're not going to be happy about it. Something about the way Noelle talks about Des that just, it makes it feel like she had some part in it too. Now, I'm not saying it like how I think Chris had some part in it, where Chris had directly caused it. In fact, this theory doesn't even have Chris in it, which kind of makes me not believe it, even though I made it myself. She speaks like she knows so much more than we could possibly imagine. And if Des's disappearance really was just an out of nowhere, like, she's gone, then I just don't know. It feels like there's still a piece that we don't have. Obviously, we're missing a lot of pieces with Des, but yes, that is me and Paul's own Des Knight fanfic tier theory that sucks ass, titled by yours truly.
Doesn't suck ass. Coin it if you use it. Credit us. Put in the comments. @Real and @Paul. They made this. They're both so hot.
Yes. Every time you mention this theory, you need to sign it off with that. That kind of concludes most of the big bits of information we have about Friend. I want to close out by talking about some more smaller bits of information. That's kind of like a tradition at this point, where we end off with just little bits that I didn't have enough to make full slides on. So first of all, friend is often tied to digital things. We first encounter it in the basement of Queen's mansion, and it's also tied to the very glitchy Spamton. It's very prevalent in the cyber world, a digital world. We also see friend very heavily in Mantle, and it is tied to ERAM. Friend is also very tied to Pink, which is an electric doll. The only appearances falling outside of the digital theme are in chapters 4 and 5, which kind of puts a damper on this whole thing, but I already mentioned, the Easter egg thing. This was... Can you tell that, like, I couldn't figure out where to actually, like, talk about the Easter egg thing? Because, like, I came to that realization and I was like, this is the fucking greatest thing ever! I need to mention this! And I couldn't figure out where. Also, I copied and pasted this directly from my notes. It look like hand.
Italy? Bro, the Italian mafia cat, bro. You said...
Holy shit.
It.
I set up the joke. Oh my
Look
god.
like a hand.
It look like hand.
That was more Mario than Italian mafia.
Mario is Italian,
No, he's not the fucking mafia.
as far as you know.
No, I'ma fucking kill you. You come and sleeping with the Chief Jeeps tonight.
Yeah, so just the way that friend has 5 fingers, 5 legs, one of which at a very different angle from the others, shorter, and has like the little webbing between its legs, it does seem very reminiscent of hand. And with all of the hand imagery in Deltarune, especially pertaining to Chris, I feel like this is something to keep in mind as it may potentially become relevant in the future. Friend and the Knight also have the same laugh, but I don't think it means anything. I think it is genuinely just reusing a soundbite. Here is Friend's laugh.
Gasper. Undertale?
And here is the Knight's laugh. So it's the same soundbite, but just like changed in pitch and like echoed a bit more. But again, I don't think it actually means anything because like, what meaningful connection could you draw between that? Are we about to say that Friend is the Knight? Friend also may have potentially existed in Undertale. There is the one unused room, the one other room that is not locked behind dog check, where you go into the grass and an NPC asks you to do something about your friend behind you with a creepy smile. Now, on top of that, in the Undertale 10th anniversary livestream, Tubby Fox showed off a lot of unused and scrapped dialogue. And one of the dialogues that was shown off there, towards the end of the event, was an extended version of this scene, which describes a young girl trying to hunt bugs. Noelle. He says 11 Noelle's 11 Gasters, Deltarune Undertale Friend Prophecy. Actually, can I just get like the full extended version? I should have put the full... See, the issue with me putting so many stupid fucking friend gifs is that I don't have room to put the actual important stuff.
Yeah, bro. Thanks, Google.
As I'm sure most of you know,
Shut up, stop talking. Gloop. Waterfall dialogue, here it is. I'm catching bugs, but there aren't many in the underground. I keep catching the same one. A small bug keeps walking into the girl's net. It's trying its best. You seem really reckless. Undyne would probably like you. Can you do something about your friend? Yes, your friend, the one right next to you with the creepy smile. Never mind, it seems like he left. I also want to point out, the first time we see Friend in Deltarune, as soon as we look at him, he disappears! Just like in this dialogue! And again, this was by the end of the event. This was after they had already beaten Asriel, and they're going back and like seeing everyone again. So, one of the last things that Tony left us with, Trixie Tony, was this extended dialogue. And the last bit of info I have here is, can you believe that chud version of me from the past didn't talk about the humble servant dialogue after mentioning the humble servant vending machine 18,000 times? So anyway, we gotta go back in time a little bit to when Undertale first came out. In Undertale's files, there was this track right here, ABC123A.
Hello, have some respect and don't destroy the game.
Basically, it is a really so scary, creepy audio file telling people not to data mine and spoil the game. Undertale is, of course, a game that prides itself on you going in blind to get the best experience. If people data mined the game and spread the files around everywhere instead of discovering the game's secrets for themselves naturally, it would kind of ruin the entire experience. Could you imagine if, when Undertale came out, people knew that Genocide Route led to extra fights and story content? That would kind of destroy the entire impact of the route. It's supposed to be something that you do just because you can, and when you find out what happens, well, bad. Of course, Undertale did come out and get data mined because, I mean, Please don't data mine my game! Data mines game like a boss. It happens. And afterwards, this file was gone and was replaced with shut up, Toby. And additionally, in the code, we got these extra lines of dialogue right here, where Toby Fox is pretty much saying, I bet. And in these lines of dialogue, which are spoken by demons, one of them says, I, your humble servant, will follow you to the utmost. This is kind of a key piece of the whole friend is the meta concept of Easter egg hunting in general and follows you across games like Kara argument that I made, and I just forgot to mention it. I'm really good at this, guys. And the last bit of info I have here is, remember, Pink said not to let anyone see our protein. Susie is so fucked. She has seen our protein. Friend is going to go after Susie. We have doomed Susie Deltarune. She will no longer be stealing fountains. She's dead. The cat will get to her. Thoughts? And there's one more big Friends topic that I wasn't going to mention it originally, but I knew if I didn't, I'd get a 3,000 comments about it, and you know, I probably should have left it out so that I would get 3,000 comments and boost my video in the algorithm, but have you guys ever heard of Wachifield?
What?
So Wachifield is a Japanese children's book series from the 90s, written by one Akiko Ikeda.
What the fuck is that?
And the Deltarune fanbase found this series one day and went absolutely fucking ballistic because a lot of the artwork seems to have inspired Friend. The story is about a cat named Dion who was transported to the fantasy world of Wachifield by a floating green door in the middle of a snowstorm. Green, Gaster, door that shouldn't be there. Snow. I would like to bring your attention back to the first PowerPoint for a moment. If you'll remember, on the slide where I introduced Survey Program, there was a Toby Fox tweet that was not from Gaster, but was tweeted right at the start of the Gaster posting for Survey Program that I said was gaining new meaning every day. Do you remember that tweet? The one where it was dark
Yeah, it was the
and
one he
cold.
talks about the snow.
Yes, it was dark, cold, there was snow, and it looked like someone wanted to talk to you. The description of Wachifield, of how Dion got to Wachifield on the Wachifield official website, says that he was brought there by snow magic. Everyone in the Deltarune fanbase found Wachifield one day, just suddenly, out of nowhere, and instantly connected it to Deltarune from a bunch of unique little plot details that just are too specific to be coincidences. And the main story that everyone goes on about is Chibi Kuro Party. This story is about one night, the moon shoots down a bunch of beams that give life to the shadows of all the animals in Wachifield. And the animals start to congregate. They kind of begin a festival. Now, this was found before Chapter 5 had come out, and everyone thought that the festival was going to be like the biggest deal in the world. So when we found out that there was a festival in this story, people kind of shat their trousers a lot. The shadows enjoy being alive. They get to live for the first time. One of the shadows, the shadow of a character named Noelle, was ordered by Satan of the Death Forest to lure all the shadows deep into the forest in the festival. And so she does. Noelle brings them to the forest, promising them that they can be free for more than just one night. In other words, a never-ending night. However, if the shadows don't come back to their rightful owners, they will be used by Satan until they are worn out. Eventually, Dion and his shadow, I forgot the name of his shadow, they manage to convince all the animals that, hey, you gotta go back to your host. The shadows gotta go back to their hosts, and then everyone dances together as the sun comes up, and they all merge back together, and everyone lives happily ever after.
That's the Undertale.
It is literally Gaster Gaster Theory tier buzzword slop spam. Look at the fucking artwork of the shadows. That's just Fran. That's literally him. And as if that wasn't enough, there are three other Wachifield books, and they don't have as many big significant parallels as this one, but come on! Look at it! That's just him! The three other books are Lazy Tree, White Euroka, and Thursday Rainy Party. Lazy Tree, this thing that looks nothing like anyone we've ever seen before, is the 1,000-year sloth. And it lives in this tree on an island where a bunch of cats specifically lay against the tree lazily and get absorbed into the tree's roots. We don't know how many cats are in that tree. In White Europa, there is another fucking festival and an additional reoccurring motif of the North Wind, just like in the Night Fight. Additionally, the North Wind is a cold wind. So, additionally, there is a snow god mentioned in the story. There's a lot of snow in the story in general. Snow and snow magic are reoccurring themes in Wachifield. Additionally, in one of the earliest pages of White Europa, Dion snaps off a piece of ice to kind of look at himself, but he sees through the ice and he sees his friend Giton there, which, I mean, that just kind of looks like Snowgrave Birdly, but it also evokes images of shadow crystals looking through something glass-like and seeing something you weren't expecting. And Thursday Rainy Party.
Is this where Sanders from? Is Sanders from Wachifield?
Thursday Rainy Party, it rains. So yeah, I don't think that these Wachifield parallels are really. I think this is like just the stars genuinely aligning.
Toby Fox, who never thought of that.
I don't think it's out of the question that Toby Fox, I mean, knowing how Japanese this white boy is, has read Wachifield, or at least, like, knows of it. Maybe when he was learning Japanese, he used the Wachifield books as, like, training. But, I mean, like, look at this thing. It's friend. It's literally friend. I also wrote the word chimera in my notes, and I don't remember why.
Friday Night Funkin' thing.
Oh yeah, one of the characters in Wachifield is the Chimera of Seven Changes. I don't know what it does, but I think I did literally write it because of Friday Night Funkin'. But yes, with that actually brings about the end of the friend presentation. Like always, I will turn the mic over to my audience here of 3 people. Yep, 3 people. There are 3 people right now. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And Webb's corpse and the other one, I don't know what his name is.
I forgot. Is there a third guy? I'll take the mic first here. Today's Deltarune fan project shout out is going to be a cool little fan game that crops up recently called Deltarune Friendless, which is a solo Ralsei battle against Friend, where Ralsei is confronting Friend in the depths, trying to figure out what actually happened to Chris and Des. It's a take that I believe is meant to take place in either chapters 6 or 7, although it was clearly made with
6 or 7.
Although it was very clearly made with only chapter 4 knowledge, because nothing about the Flower Kingdom is mentioned at all. And it was also updated right before chapter 5 came out. So, but it is really cool. It has really cool attacks. It actually has an orange soul mode in it as well. Again, before chapter 4 came out, chapter 5 came out. Yeah, no, it's just really cool. That's just today's Deltarune fan project shout out.
Oh, I just looked up. I've seen this on YouTube before. It's really cool.
The theme for the fight is also really good. The friend sprite keeps changing throughout the battle too. It gets like bigger, and as you go through the fight, you see it like giving out shadow crystals to all the secret bosses, and like seeing how they kind of like went insane, or like what went wrong in their lives. It's cool. It's cool. It's one of the best Deltarune fan fights I've seen. A lot of Deltarune fan fights are either animations, which would not like function as proper playable fights, or they're just kind of easy because they were made in like the early Deltarune era. But I'm glad that we're still getting like really good Deltarune fan content, like playable fan content. And Friendless is just an example of that. So go download Deltarune Friendless today. I had to like pass a QTE every time I said Friendless because there's a Homestuck game called Homestuck Friend Sim. And just for some reason, whenever I think of Friendless, I think of the word Friend Sim, and I don't know why. Yes, I would, again, turn the mic to you guys. Anything else to say, or?
Nothing really. I mean,
pretty good presentation.
I want to go back to the concept though. I really want to talk about Chud Seth again.
We can go back to Chud Seth.
Let's go to Chud Seth. Let's end off on Chud Seth. I'd like that.
Chud, where's the concept?
Can we go back to corn as well? I like corn.
We can go back to the corn for a second.
Enjoy the corn.
Enjoy the corn.
Oh, real quick, this is actually something. What do you think of the $90 hoodie?
I'm not fucking buying that shit.
$90 hoodie for the orchestra, bro.
I think I would like the hoodie more if it didn't have Undertale World Tour Determination Symphony written on the back of it. Like, if it didn't have that text, it would be a perfectly wearable hoodie. I think if anything, I'll get like a blind bag. I'll get one of the blind bags for the keychains. If there's no more friend questions, then this will be where we sign off the friend video. So I want to thank
Chud Seth.
I want to thank anyone who watched to the end, and I want to, of course, once again thank my two amazing co-hosts. And
My 2 amazing co-hosts and no one else.
And with that, viewers, I will see you in the next one. Be sure to tell me in the comments what else you want me to cover, because again, I'm kind of out of ideas. I'll find something to cover if no one recommends something. I'll figure something out.